Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Hungry Bleak Show. I am Antonio Pomares, and welcome. Yes, I'm wearing the same shirt that I was wearing in the last episode because I did two in a day. So there you go. So don't think I'm out here just wearing a shirt all the time, even though it is a cool shirt. It is because I really dig vampires. Just no, I did. Don't put that in the street. I'm out here wearing the same clothes every week. I'm not a cartoon character. Stop that. So folks, again, you know how I feel about Kickstarters. They're awesome. It's a great chance and opportunity to crowdfund incredible projects. And you can find everything on Kickstarter pretty much. But you know where my focus is, comics. And there are a plethora of comics out there being advertised and funded by Kickstarter. And I'm lucky enough to have one of them here today. So I got to read the first issue and really enjoyed it. I have this love for kind of family comics that have to deal with, still like kind of superhero-y, superpowers, things like that. I think they're great, especially when it's a black family. That really hits home because we didn't get that for the longest time. So that's what makes this one important. So let me bring it out. The comic is called Sweet Pea. I got to read the first issue and absolutely loved it. Nice, bold, bright colors that kind of made my eyes twinkle a little bit. It was the reverse of what I've been reading because I was reading Blade beforehand, and I love reading both sides. But I love the beautiful colors, and one of the prominent colors in this comic. Take a guess. It's my favorite color, purple. So obviously, I was slightly biased, but then I was all the way in when I read the story and saw the art and the ending, which made me go, I gotta wait for issue 2. Damn. So, folks, give it up for Alim Leggett.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing all right, man. How are you doing?
Great.
Okay, so like I said, Sweet Pea issue 1, absolutely adored it. Not just because of the purple, which was a definite bonus. Thank you. I mean, you didn't do that with me in mind, but thank you. I love when people are showing more purple in color, especially black comics. I love it. It's such a strong, noble, royal color, but still can do something to your heart.
Right.
I love that. So if you can tell us a bit about yourself and what got you into comics.
So I come from back when comic books were sold on little turnstile racks and corner stores and newspaper stands and
Yes.
and not just in the comic book shop, but they were everywhere when I was a kid. So like walking down the street with my mom or whatever, I grab a book anytime I saw one. And I used to keep this Ninja Turtle toy chest that was bigger than me, and it full of comic books. So a lot of Spider-Man stuff in there. I had a lot of like Spawn comics was inside of there. I probably shouldn't have had them when I
Ooh.
was that little, but yeah, this is back. Yeah. So some Mortal Kombat comic books when they first started out. I got from the
Ooh.
Amtrak train station. I remember where I got my first Mortal Kombat comic book from. So yeah, like I just always love the stories behind them and the characters inside of them, and the worlds that they could take you to.
Yeah, you definitely hit a spot when you said the turn, because that's where I got my first. I think I got my first comic in a supermarket,
Yep.
and you could never get them in order. Like you'd get two, then you get 10.
Yep.
Then if you went back the next week, you might find 5. Like it was always in a weird order, but I would grab them just because first off the covers would grab me.
Exactly.
These fantastical things, and just being able to have it. Then when I started selling them with the magazines, hey, they have like 5 for $1, like however many for in like those plastic packs.
hmm
Again, never in sequential order. It was just a random group of comics, but I grabbed it because I wanted to read them.
Yeah, and it
But
was a simpler time too. You know what I mean? Like it
yeah,
was enough to have like issue 5 of this, and then go jump to issue 3 of that, and
exactly. Yeah, because it wasn't like really big overarching stories at the time. There weren't events.
Yeah.
that were happening. It was just, I'm going
Crossover
to read
events with
this.
checklists that, like you got the main story and then you got the side story here for 5 different characters, and
Yep,
it's a lot.
exactly. Like those side stories and tie-ins, everything like that. Like it could be one story in one issue,
Right.
or it could just be something that continued, but you didn't think about it because you would just keep going and rereading it because it was so cool.
Yeah.
So I always loved that. What got you into creating comics?
Well, around the same, I spent a lot of time mimicking the art from out of the comic books and everything like that, and cartoon characters. Everybody was drawing like Tweety Bird or like Tasmanian Devil and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? So like so eventually I started making my own characters and giving them powers and background. Like this guy, the Dragon Ball Z kind of character, or Mighty Morphin Power Ranger character, and things like that. And that evolved into like tabletop role playing games. So I
Oh,
would tell stories through that, and then like online RPGs where I would build these characters, and just like that's always been a theme. Like character creation and stories surrounding them was always something that was rattling around inside of my head. So but comic book creation, I think, didn't really seem like something. It just seemed like something that other people did, if that makes sense. Like these unknown people, because I'm not looking at the credits or checking, the creator and illustrator name, and
yeah.
then looking those people up back then, or even like the credit reels after movies or cartoons or anything like that. It's just something that somebody made that I can enjoy or whatever. So I never really knew that it was possible to get into that field until very recently, during the pandemic, when things slowed down a lot for me. I was able to kind of reset and find some of the things that were of great interest to me in my child, things that I loved as a child and a young adult, that I kind of got away from once I started building up all of these responsibilities and getting caught inside a loop of work, bills, sleep, work, bills, sleep, work, bills, sleep. So once I got a break from all of that, I got to get back into art, exploring new avenues with social media. I found a lot of great groups. So one of them being I Create Comic Books on Facebook, and another one being Black Comic Book Creators, which were full of very knowledgeable and generous people. One of those people is a guy named Stephen Duffy from the UK. He runs
Mhm.
Apex Comics UK, and like that's the guy who I really clicked with and kind of like walked me through the backdoor process of how to create my own comic book and turn these ideas into a reality on the page.
That's awesome. The pandemic and COVID was a horrible thing, but it definitely saw people tap into that creative side
Mm-hmm.
in a very in various ways, whether it was through TikTok's emergence or dance, what have you. But I saw a lot of people getting into art as far as drawing and art, and painting and writing, things like that, and then being able to really cultivate that more and more, especially because we had a couple years of it.
Yeah,
So I mean, that's great to see that it was what helped you to spark. Because sometimes you do get into that groundhog day of, like you're saying, work, sleep, bills, work, sleep, bills, work, sleep, bills, and everything in there. And when you find that little 10, 15, however much time you can to kind of do your little thing, and then that little thing becomes more of a bigger thing, and it
right.
becomes, damn, you know what, this is. And then being able to see yourself saying, this can be me. I can be that name up on the screen. I can be the name if somebody looks up who did this comic and they see your face.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That's very important to have that representation, because a lot of creators, I'm sure, like before they became creators, may not have known that they could be that because we never saw ourselves.
Absolutely.
We did not see brown skin. We did not see black skin. We did not see women. We didn't see people that looked like us. So it's beautiful to be in those circles, in that realm, and for your first comic to be out here doing it. So that's I mean, that's huge. That's huge. Now, give us the story of Sweet Pea, which is you're going to be doing Sweet Pea #2, which is what the Kickstarter is going to be. Sweet Pea #1 is already out. Can you give us the story of that?
Okay. So issue #1 is about Imani Williams. Her father calls her Sweet Pea, and her dad name is Marcus.
Mm.
And it just kind of starts the way any regular day would start with, the morning routine of, hey, Dad, love you, gotta go work and school and things like that. And then, while they're separated on their commute, a disaster strikes, and now all of a sudden it's like the skies opened up and monsters are pouring in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm trying to speak kind of vaguely because there's a lot, there's a lot of mystery involved inside of it, and it's purposeful that like not a whole lot is explained of why these things are happening, and we will get into it later. But so now they're separated and trying to find each other inside the midst of that chaos and find some kind of safety and security. Dad's trying to get to his daughter to protect her. Daughter's trying to get to his dad to because that's her the security inside of her life, and the reason that I made the story that way, I don't know if I'm kind of segueing away from the question, but yeah, the reason that I made the story this way was to kind of highlight the consequences of violent, an unsafe environment on children, as well as the effect that a parent has on his or her or their child throughout the course of their life. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. So when they're confronted with those things, they got some kind of like bedrock to lean on. So I kind of want to shine a light on two things, as well as just the trauma and like hidden trauma and the effects of it, even though it's like it's kind of sensationalized inside the story. But I come from a place where you see some things, man. You experience some things at an early age that we don't always get to process properly, and it can have a dramatic effect on you throughout your life. With like people walking around with PTSD don't even know that they got it, or they could possibly have it.
You have said a word on that. That's a great way to think of it, because unfortunately with us Black people, we're born with trauma.
Yeah.
It's in our DNA, unfortunately. And for the longest time, we walk around without it. We joke about everything. We will make the jokes about stuff that don't even make no sense, because that's our way of just trying to get through it and cycle through it. That's our way of doing it. So to have this be a story, I mean, yes, you have monsters and you have other things going on, but at the root of it, it is about that protection, that security, and that trauma. And you definitely see it through the interaction, because as Sweet Pea and Marcus are dealing with their two situations, they're both thinking, I have to get to the other. Right. Marcus is trying to get to her to protect her because that's his daughter. She's trying to get to him because she, like, even though this is ridiculous, all the stuff's going on, monsters, everything, she's like, he'll know what to do. He's like, I don't know where these monsters scare, but it's that, again, it's that love, it's that protection, it's that security, and it's the child's, I don't know to figure it out. And it's that trust and love that there. So that was very palpable and very being able to be felt during that scene. And even though Sweet Pea is saying all this, she's helping her friend Amaya, who is showing clear trauma.
Yeah.
By not being able to speak and everything. So you're showing trauma in many different forms.
Right.
You're showing someone who's trying to fight through trauma to get to their daughter to protect them. The daughter is trauma, has no idea what's going on, but still feels a need to then protect her friend who has trauma, who is clearly trauma, a catatonic, is just there.
Yeah.
So you're showing it in so many different ways in this situation. So I mean, kudos for that. First off,
thank you.
I mean, for real, like you show, because you, yeah, that like, and I kept wanting Amaya to wake up. Like, she okay? Is she okay? Is she okay? I thought she was gonna shake out of it, and I was like, oh no, no, because now Imani is literally bringing trauma with her, figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot going. That's why I was like I started feeling like kind of tension. I was like, yo, is everything like, I started getting anxiety, like, yo, is she gonna snap out? What's going on? Like, just...
I'm glad, man. I'm glad that we was able to invoke those kind of feelings and emotions inside of the story. It was all very much the intention. You know, like they asked me, like, because it's not interesting. I mean, like, it's not exciting. So, but this is my thoughts behind what I'm trying to, what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So, like, I've got, even like with the title and the logo and everything like that, it looks like a page out of a girl's diary, right? And you got all these nice little scribbles on there, and it starts off just like very family oriented and everything like that. And then, pretty much like that, this thing happens, and now, these young people are experiencing this thing. Like, everybody is experiencing it, but like, the point that I was trying to drive home is that these very normal kids, these, just doing kid things, is all of a sudden exposed to this other thing. And now, we got to figure out what's going to happen as a result of that with the kids, with the parents, with the community, with everybody. So, like, there's kind of like a juxtaposition of the expectations of how things should be versus how things are.
Yeah, no, it's definitely felt. It's definitely felt. And no, you're definitely right. I was having the same conversation earlier. I love when a comic can have one tone in the beginning. And even like you're saying, the way you look and you see it, the bright colors and everything. Like I said, purple. Okay, bet I'm there. Yeah, all right, give me more. Like, what's going on? And then by the end, you're like, wait, hold on. This is not this. Where was everything was cool, but life can happen like that. So when comics can give you entertainment, and they can give you, powers and superheroes and daring fights and whatever going on, but then there's this sometimes hidden and sometimes not so hidden layer underneath it that's still being conveyed through all of this. It hits a little bit more, because at the end you're like, wait, and then you're like, oh, that's okay, that all right. So I mean, you definitely hit on that point, because there is a definite tone in the beginning, like you're saying, from the cover, from jump, you're like, okay. And even the name does not sound like it's going to be that. You're like, oh, Sweetpea. Oh, okay, cool. This is, oh, okay, yeah. You get to the end, you're like, wait, there was nothing sweet about that pea. Hold on, that was the opposite of Sweetpea.
Yeah.
But the ending, I'm not gonna say what it is. Well, I'm not even sure what it is, to be honest with you. So even then, but that pulled me in more, because like, oh, I want to know what this is, and is that what I think it might be? Whatever. So that's very interesting to me.
We're gonna answer a lot of questions for you. We're gonna answer some questions for you in issue 2.
All right,
sure.
Because I don't like all the questions answered right away, because I like that feeling of being like every bit, and then it clicking in our heads and going, oh wait, this is this, and then you get confirmation from the creators. I love that.
And the color purple was definitely a deliberate choice. For it being Amani's favorite color, where like, she wears it, and she she styles her hair with it, and also the color that represents the event that's surrounding her is also purple, which is why I subtitled the first issue Purple Haze. So it's it's all relative.
I'm definitely digging, and there's a little nuance that I did love too, is the fact that Marcus does Amani's hair.
Yeah.
I love that little nuance. Not a huge thing. People read it, oh, okay, whatever. I read it and I was like, yeah, I love that. I love a father doing things like that with his child.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so important and so incredible, and just being an everyday thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really applaud that as well. I love seeing things like that in comics and in, again, our representation. I love that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Because like they not a, like I imagine, even though like I didn't include some of the stuff because it's not really relevant to the story, but like
hmm
when you make them characters, you kind of imagine the situation that kind of molded them before the story started, so you get an idea how the characters would be, and they're not exactly like a very they're like a middle income family, you know what I mean?
hmm
So and bills and everything like that. We got to cut corners where we can cut corners. So like I can't take you to the hair salon for the the $150 hairdos every 2 weeks, but we can style this thing up together and you'll
yeah,
look good. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's the situation.
and just the fact of the father like taking it. Well, but this is my headcanon anyway. The father taking the time and the love to like watch maybe like YouTube videos or TikTok, so or like whatever it is, so he
Yeah.
can style her hair and everything. I think that's just beautiful because it just shows again love and that connection, because we're
Hmm.
very rooted in our hair,
Right.
says the bald man. We're
Yeah.
very rooted in our I can really talk, but we're rooted in that. So
And
I
then
think
she
that
got
was
to
very
go out
important.
and deal with people trying to clown her because her
Yes.
dad,
Yeah.
which will happen. You know what I mean? You got a kitchen cut, man.
Hey.
It'll happen, but like it's it's something behind that that's a little bit deeper and more special.
Yeah.
Sometimes, man, that's a memory for you to have later on in your life.
Like
Which
those
you might
times when
not
you were.
appreciate it when you're that young, but it'll mean something to you eventually. You know what I mean? Even if you hate it now, my uncle rap, man, he said he got a line that talking about his father that passed away. He said I used to rub my cheek, but now I wish that I could kiss you. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. That's what you when it's gone, you miss it.
yeah.
But then you can at least think about the memories that you did have for it, and you like, oh, but then you go, damn, not here no more. So yeah, that like look, little nuances like that can make a story and detail so much more. And it can be something that just is an everyday thing or a little comment or a little remark, but it adds to the story so much more. So I think that's great. So with the Kickstarter for issue 2, which is as we're recording, because this is pre-recorded, it will be starting the day that this actually goes out, September 8th. Now, do you know what tiers you're going to be having for the Kickstarter as far as what people can get?
Yeah. So we're gonna be offering up issue 1, of
hmm
course. Um, digital copies of digital PDFs of issue 1 and issue 2, physical copies of both of them are also going to be offered. I got some new sticker designs. I love to see my ideas by other artists. I'm an artist
Ooh,
myself, but I love to like see what other people are going to do. So you'll see like some different art styles with the stickers packs that we offering, as well as like the
nice.
posters that we're offering. That's also a tier. I also have a special one. This guy Bateboa out of I don't want to place him in the wrong place, but he won the best artist award for Glyph 2023. He did a
Okay.
he did a cover for me that I'm going to have 12-point hollow chrome virgin cover,
Ooh.
limited supply. I'm only going to have 50 copies of that. That's the only time I'm going to print it. The cover for issue 2 is the one that's going to be available on Kickstarter. Is not going to be printed after that that Kickstarter batch of prints. I'm not printing that anymore. I might do like a poster or something later, which is like I did that on issue 1. Like I had a Kickstarter cover that I won't reprint the book, but now like if you still want to have at least the picture, I can get you a poster and from this of that cover for the next issue for this campaign. What else we got going on besides those things? Some retail bundles where like I try to make it as as good as possible. So even if somebody just wanted to get a bunch of copies, I try to cut the price of getting 15, or another one. I think I got like 30 copies of issue 1, 30 copies of issue 2, 120 stickers, and 60 posters. So you can make it a retail party.
All right.
If you want. So okay. Yeah, man. I think I got pretty much everything, and then add-ons. So with that, really is just everything in case you want to mix and match in any kind of way you want.
Yeah, that's always cool. Is the tiers are great, and seeing your ideas from other artists is always great. Like little reinvention. Like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. Oh, I didn't. Some that they see that you may not see that they're exaggerating more of or focusing more on. Being able to add on tiers is great. Like being able to almost create your own bundle, I think is a great idea. I'm so glad that they were able to add that onto Kickstarter, because a lot of times I was like, I want that and I want that too, but I can't add, so that's a beautiful thing.
The only thing with the add-ons is I can't offer the posters on add-ons, and I can't offer that the virgin cover as an add-on. The virgin cover for obvious reason, because it's only 50 of those available, so I don't want to end up having to print more, promising more than I'm going to make. And the posters, because I have my add-on shipping cost at 0, so it's just would have got weird with like having the option to add a poster on there, because that's a whole different set of packaging and shipping and everything like that. But everything else is there as an add-on for like as no cost.
And that's awesome. And it's going to be, folks, all I'm going to say is it's going to be a treat to read issue 2. So if you have not yet, after you're done with this, you've had your lunch, what have you, I want you to go over to Kickstarter. I want you to go to Sweetpea, issue 2, Son of Adam. And I want you to check out the tiers and go and click that out. As always, in the episode description, I'm going to have the link for the Kickstarter, so you can go look up, check it out, see everything that you want to get in there. Go on and just enjoy it. And if you haven't read issue 1, you're going to be in for a treat being able to read issue 1 and then immediately go read issue 2. Unlike me, where I have to wait because I really want to see what's going to happen next, because that scene on the couch, I was like, all right, man, I don't know, but I'm excited to see what it is, because it's just, I love that feeling of, oh, what's this? And comics are doing that more. I love the writing of comics more now, because it's very exciting to see. So as a creator and, putting stories together and everything, and again, living life and everything, we need to take time where we take care of ourselves. And you all know how big I am on mental health and self-care and taking care of yourself so you can do whatever you have to do. What's the self-care tip that you do? What's something that you do that keeps you grounded, that keeps you rooted?
Spending time with my family. I got a pretty big family. I have a wife and 5 children, so anytime I can get to spend with them is great. I also art. I haven't been able to paint a lot lately. Let me see. I got a few sitting here next to me. Let me see if I can find one worth showing. So let's go with this one, sure. So like I paint at times too. So I got a huge one over here. I'm not gonna pull that out though. And in digital art and things like that is also great for me. Video games, when I can take the time out to do them, even though like that's becoming less of a possibility for me, I guess. I feel like as much as I grew up loving games all the way from Macintosh. Actually, I was gonna say Nintendo, but we had a
Yeah,
we had a
man.
Macintosh. The old Apple computers.
Yep.
We had,
Yep.
and they had a couple of games on there. So yeah, man. Like I've always loved video games, but that I gotta kind of like ease up on because I can get invested in those games, man. and like it'll mess my schedule up playing around with those, which like become the opposite of self-care.
I know that feeling. Like I've had times where there were games when I would get so invested in the game and I'd be playing it and then I start hearing birds chirp. I was like, what
Yeah,
is that?
man.
And I look out and I see the light and I go, you gotta be kidding me. But this is when I was in my 20s. I was
Yeah.
like now I'm like, I've fallen asleep with the controller in my hand now. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm good. But I've been there. And yeah, games definitely can help. Which one do you find to be more therapeutic as far as like when you're doing art? Actual like painting on canvas or the digital art?
Um, Even though I do more digital art now,
Mhm.
painting on canvas, I would have to say because
Mhm.
I just get lost in the canvas and trying new things, and I'm self-taught, so I mean it's all exploration and experimenting with
Mhm.
me. And my opinion of art is that it's not really you can't really do it wrong. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
just do it. You take it as far as you want to take it, and when you're done, I guarantee that there's going to be somebody in the world that's going to see it and appreciate it. And even if you don't find that person, they're out there. And if you're satisfied with something that you created, then that's enough in and of itself. You know what I mean?
That's very true. Yeah, that I would think like I'm not a visual artist like that, but I would think that painting on canvas would just feel more better because it's actually the feeling of the brush in the
Mhm.
paint and then the brush on the actual canvas that
Yeah.
like that tactile
Yeah. It's
sensation.
the same. It's the same for drawing, man.
Really?
Drawing on a digital on pads, which I do a lot of, but
Hmm.
it's not the same feeling at all. It's just sketching something out, even though you have less tools and is like you got to take more steps to get the same results. But I have way more control when I'm leaning over some Bristol or just even like a piece of notebook paper or whatever,
Hmm.
and it's way more intuitive for me to be able to like really touch and feel the grains and
Yes.
like interacting with what I'm doing instead of just gliding across the screen. No matter what texture I'm creating, it's the same like glide. You know
Hmm.
that means a lot to me. I might be a little bit little OCD about it, but it,
No, that actually makes a lot of sense because I would think like one is obviously more streamlined and everything, and I think the other is, I mean, both forms are beautiful, but I would think that one is more streamlined, obviously, where you can just hit the tabs, everything, you can get everything there, but the other one is more for that almost like a cathartic feeling
mhm.
of getting out whatever's in your soul, like whatever you got, like if you had a day that just wasn't it, and you like I got to get
Yeah.
this out, and you just putting it all on that canvas,
Where
on that
even
notebook paper.
even your mistakes, man, you learn to adapt to the mistakes that you made when you
Yeah.
working inside of like a traditional medium, painting or otherwise. It's not the end of the painting. It's just you turn now what you thought was a mistake in a piece of your art instead
Hmm.
of just two finger taps and then now that's gone and let's put something else in it.
Yeah, I mean, just like life, you got to kind of pivot into
Yeah.
things sometimes, unfortunately.
Yeah, you end
So,
up with something great just that you didn't, like you don't end up where your destination was. Your goal your finish line might be a little bit different than your goal, but oftentimes, man, I look back and I find that I appreciate it for what it became.
I mean, that's a beautiful way to look at it too, and it's true.
Mhm.
Now, w- we talked about comics and being able to look through the spinner rack and everything, but what are three comic book recommendations? They can be old or new. They can be comics or graphic novels. What are three comic book recommendations that you would give?
All right. So I mean, mainstream, they you know, like they don't need the publicity. You know all those guys, man. They
Right.
staple. So I'm gonna go the independent route.
Okay.
And I got actually 3 books here with me. This first guy I met down at DreamCon in Texas this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Armor of the Gods. Let me see, can I get the glare off of it?
I keep hearing about that, and I'm like, damn, I think I even follow them on IG,
Yeah,
but I
the art
keep
inside
trying
of
to want
there,
to check it
man,
out.
it's like
Ooh,
it's beautiful.
yes, yes, yes.
Right, it's very, very, very well made. Um, when I opened it up, he was trying to give me the pitch to it. I opened it up. I was like, man, just give it here. Let me get that.
Sometimes you don't even need it. You're like, yeah, yeah, all
Yeah,
right, yeah.
yeah, nah, man. And the story is there too, though. It's a
Mhm.
good story, and like you can see, like it's kind of like they got like an epic going on, the beginning of an epic here. So I'll actually give you. He doesn't
Okay.
have a company on here. I'll try to give you. It's written and created by Malik Shumaki, Schumake. So you
Okay.
can find him, look up Armor of the Gods on Instagram, or you know, search him up by name and give him a play because you know he made a great book.
All right.
Second,
Cool.
uh, Kid Solar. Actually, this might be hard to see
Hmm.
because I
Is
got
that a
the metal
foil
cover.
cover? Yeah.
Yeah.
That cover
So
looks nice though.
yeah. So this one was made by this guy. It's Trippy Bull Comics, created by Brian Bracey.
Mm-hmm.
Again, artwork inside is great. Um, this one
Nice.
gave me kind of like a. You watch the shows on CW?
Yeah, yeah, I've watched them. Yeah.
Yeah, this felt like the introduction to one of those, and I don't know if that's what he was going for or not. But it's a superhero origin. Issue
Mm-hmm.
1 is an origin, and I definitely could see it as a series. So he just recently made the decision to continue the series, and I'm looking forward to seeing the next one of
All
those.
right.
And lastly, you know, I'm not going to give myself the shout out. I'm going to give it to you know, already getting enough of it. So the search for Sadaka.
Okay.
Yeah. Now this one is Greg
Oh,
Burnham.
Burnham. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. My man from Tuskegee Airs.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
Tuskegee
Yes.
Airs and Search for Sadaka, and I think they got a couple of other titles that they do together and independent. But he also does like work with Milestone
Mm-hmm.
and over at DC. He's
Yeah.
writing.
He's
He's
got
writing for
something.
them. I think he's writing he wrote Superman recently.
Yeah, he's
And,
got something coming out. I think something for October. I think kind of like I want to say it's an anthology possibly, and he's doing a
mhm.
story in that
Yeah,
with
it's like a
with some
horror
horror.
anthology.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
so he wrote Superman inside of there, and I got to speak with him at DreamCon also, and like a great guy, man. Like
Yeah.
absolutely deserves the support of people because he is very much for people and very free with information and advice. You
Mm-hmm.
know, he not like not knocking nobody, but he wasn't like, okay, I could teach you, but sign up to my Patreon and I'll
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Like
no,
he's looking for something.
he just was like, look, man, because I was asking him about writing, because like God bless my illustrator, because I know like my amateur script writing for comic books is probably confusing as hell. You know what I mean? So I'm like, man, like how do you just like capture a moment and explain it in a way that's easy for you know somebody to pick up and read. He was like, there's really the difference between like getting professional work and not getting professional work, because it's like it's one thing when you're working with somebody that knows your brain, knows your mind,
Yeah.
right? or you know, like you comfortable enough working with where you can just give them a broad description and they can pick out a couple of things and you know, give you something that's satisfactory and along the lines of what you was going for. But when you're working with these other people, you gotta, you know, no matter who pick it up, they should be able to, you know, very clearly, like it's a dark night. It's not nighttime, but there's storm clouds, so there's not a lot of light, and you know, light source is coming from this direction. He's flying, you know, so fast that you can't see, you know, like you can't see his legs, and
Mm-hmm.
the red from the cape is trailing or whatever. Which isn't like, I'm just you know, like spitballing that part or whatever.
Yeah.
But
But just being like descriptive enough where they
yeah,
can
just descriptive in a
tell you
way
exactly what
that,
you
you
need.
know, like,
Yeah.
but that's just this one example. Like these are things that, you know, I ain't know, but they gave me an opportunity to learn it from them. You know, some of the, you know, the secrets of the professional comic book world, and I'm happy to share it with as many people that I can. And that right there alone was enough for me to give him my full support, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
everything that I can support in every way that I can support him. So he recently had a campaign for issue #2 of the Search for Sadika.
Yes.
That to get back to the book, it's a great book. It's about um what's the name of the community? Black Wall Street.
Tulsa.
Tulsa, yeah. Family in Tulsa, where you know, right around the time that everything went down there, and the daughter ends up going on like a journey of discovery after those events. There was something going on with her family that you can read for yourself, but there was like some secrets that their family had of their heritage,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, they run to her and tell her like, look, we got to stay here and handle this, but you take this map and you go find, you know, this, and I love you. So that's the beginning, you know, the issue 0 that I got through. I got issue 1 here that I'm holding out for a little bit because I want to read I don't want to wait so long for it when issue 2 coming. I got that coming on the way from out of the campaign.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's a great series, and the creator and writer is very much deserving of the support of the, you know, the community.
Yeah. Greg is one of those great people, and incredibly talented uh, writer, creator, but also just a genuine person and human
Yeah,
being, and just being willing to speak to people
yeah,
and talk to him. Like I've met him 3 or 4 times, spoken to him a few times. Always one of the most personable people possible. Nice, funny, you know, and just a wealth of knowledge, and everything that's happening now and him coming up is so much earned because of
hmm,
the work that is done. Like when I was watching the Milestone documentary on Max,
yeah,
and I was watching it, and then to see him sitting at that table, I like it didn't even. I wasn't like, oh, I was like, earned that.
hmm,
You earned that. You should be at that table. Yeah,
yeah,
and it shouldn't be for a just that mentorship or what have you. It should be because you are there and you're writing a title. I mean, at bottom line,
hmm,
you know, he's one of those cats that you go, yeah, earned it.
yeah.
Definitely earned it.
And
Most definitely.
his homie, is it Marcus?
Marcus, yeah.
Marcus
Marcus
Williams.
the visual, yeah.
Marcus
That one
was
of the
This boy is just too
th-
dope, man.
his art is diabolical, man. It's one of the
Yeah.
most I like. I have 2 Tuskegee shirts,
Hmm.
and the art, I'm always like in awe of the art, and I love when October comes around and he starts doing like a Swaptober where
Hmm.
he just take characters and swap, and I'm like, he did one of, I think it was a Miles Morales but as Venom.
Hmm.
And I was looking and I was like, oh, can we get this? Can we get this actually in the comic or in like the Into the Spider-Verse movies? Can we get it? Was just his art is always a pleasure, and them together is this diabolical duo, honestly.
Yeah. So like that dude, man. You should try to catch one of his lives of him creating one day, man. It's so effortless, man, but that he can just. He did for DreamCon. He did Prowler Miles for on his way to DreamCon. And was
Wow.
making them, printing them out at the station, and it just was like, it's like masterpieces, man. This dude is like, he like the white beard that's sitting up on top of the
Yeah.
mountain, man.
Yep. Yep.
Really,
That sage seafood, like teach everybody, like,
yeah,
no, that, and I love when I'll see artists like that, and I'll go, oh, this is my warm up, and I'm like, wait, what? That's not a warm up. That's
right.
not a
That's like a
warm up.
week of work, man. What you talking?
That's not a warm up. What are you talking about?
You warming up for the year? What
I'm
you talking
saying,
about?
like, oh yeah, man. They did this before breakfast, my warm up. When did you start? When is breakfast? You got to tell me these things. I need to know details, brother, because what you just put down was incredible. But yeah, there are definitely like just incredibly talented people, but
Yeah,
those are great. The thing I usually get with when people give me recommendations are books I've read and
right.
that I know. You gave me two books I didn't know, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it adds to my pile, but
Sorry.
I still love that because I know so many books. Like people will come to me and they'll give me a random description and I'll go, "Oh yeah, I know a comic like that. It's this." And now I had a friend of mine. She was like, do you know any Indian comics?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I just finished reading one the other day. Let me give you the name and everything for it." And she was like you never cease to have an answer. I'm like, I read so many different things because there's so much out there.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you can get it in print or digital has made it so much more available as well, as far as PDFs, and you have Comixology, and you have all the different companies have their own thing. So it's beautiful to be able to go, if someone gives you this random description, and you go, oh yeah, like there's a comic where there's a unicorn that's a vampire hunter. I'm not kidding. And I was like, oh, bet, yeah, it's interesting as hell to me. There's a comic that it's about a vampire detective in space, and the name of the comic is Vampire Detective in Space. It's telling you right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, so there's so many different things. That's another
Like the
beautiful thing.
multiverse, man. It's like the
It's like
multiverse in real life. The possibilities are endless.
if you had a dartboard and you had just random words up there and you just threw the darts and you're like, okay, a comic about this, this, and this. Yeah, sure. I can find one right here for you. A lot of them are on Kickstarter, which is what I love. There,
Yeah.
if you scroll through the comic book section of Kickstarter, I mean, number one, go to Sweetpea, number two, and obviously kick in on that as you're going through that scroll. But you'll see so many beautiful things in comics and all different genres. It's incredible, which is what I love. Now, the final question I'm going to ask you, it's always the final one. It's always the one that gets everybody. It's always the one it's usually the harder question than asking them about comic book recommendations. What's a favorite restaurant of yours, and what's your favorite dish there?
All right. I'm gonna tell you. All
Right.
right. Don't tell my wife because it's our favorite dive, and she
Uh,
likes that it's a low key place.
right.
So we go there, and there's 1,000 people in there next time we go, and
I
I
mean,
don't want her to be able to look at me for a reason
look,
why. So it's called Namwa Tea Parlor. I think
right.
they got one in Philly, and they might have one in New York also. I think. Right,
Indeed.
right.
I mean, just looking at this alone is just, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You eat good there, man. My I'm gonna give before I give you my favorite. I'm gonna give honorable mention to the red bean buns
Oh,
and the salt and pepper shrimp. I just saw it there. Delicious. But my favorite is the crab claw dumpling.
oh, okay.
It's a I don't know what they kind of dough they fry it in, man, but it's like this soft. It's like a crab cake with the claw sticking out of the top of it, and like it's just like this texture where they got this crunch on the outside and this kind of soft bouncy inside, man. It just feels like comfort food. It feel like a warm blanket out of the dryer, kind of.
Oh man. And fall coming up too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best time. That like this is the menu. Checking it out.
Mhm.
This looks it just looks incredible. Oh man, they got General's chicken. It's a wrap. It's
Mhm.
a wrap on my whole life.
Those scallion pancakes right there, man. Make sure you get them for the appetizer and dip them in the sauce.
Man, this is yeah. This ruined and highlighted my whole night. I'm gonna be real with you because like I was saying earlier, they have one that's in New York,
Hmm.
and I'll be in New York in a few weeks. And look, I
The
one of the
chicken
beautiful
soup
things.
dumplings too. Be careful, man, because they give you this menu. The menu they give you got like the full list with check boxes, and you just check everything you want off of there, and they only like $5-6 a item, man. Before you know it, you could be up like
Yeah,
because
and I
there's so
definitely
much
can see
good
that
food on
happening,
there.
man. I can definitely see that happening. This is, oh man, the original egg rolls. Just,
Hmm.
yeah, this is this done got
Man,
me,
you
man.
got
This
me
is
looking. I
this
might go
is.
there after this. After we get off of this, this
I mean,
recording.
look, man. Lucky I end up in New York right now because I'd be heading right out the door. I would already have my hat and my hoodie on. I'll be right out the door,
Pepper
getting ready to
shrimp
get
and
some of this
the
General's
tea is
chicken.
good too, man. They got chrysanthemum, oolong,
Oh, really?
jade tea, all kinds of. They might have it on the menu somewhere, probably.
Oh no, drinks in this. Oh wait, they frozen dumplings as well. You can
Let me
take.
take some
Oh wow.
almonds.
Oh, that's
Nice.
incredible. That's okay. Yeah, they've got desserts as well.
They got them
Yeah.
steamed red bean buns. The Phoenix buns is good too. I ain't never tried the fried sesame balls. But that paste that they put inside of there, man, you gotta eat them fresh. You can't like warming them up is so save some room. Warming them up is not the same. If you gotta warm them up, take like a wet paper towel or something over to put over top of
Yes.
them.
Yeah, because that steam, that the
Yeah.
moisture is very important.
Hmm.
Look, man, I'm about to kick you off because you shouldn't have did this. This is you messed up my whole night, man. I'm gonna be real with you. You messed up my whole night, man. But it's
Yeah.
but I love again, I love learning about places that I haven't eaten before. And I haven't eaten there, and they have a couple of different spots, and they've got one in New York. So I mean, it's a wrap because I love going to New York and having either pizza, barbecue, or having Chinese, like some type of Asian cuisine. And this is right up my alley, man. Because if I can get dumplings and that General's chicken, and
Hmm.
it's, I mean, because I can walk around with an egg roll. That's not a problem at all. Egg roll is New York is a walking town in the city, and I can walk around with an egg roll, no problem at all. Easy. It'll be gone before the end of the block. That's
Right.
not a problem. All right, man. You done messed. I don't know if I can get right because the pictures are just yeah. But that's what I like. That's beautiful.
Hey man, you know what? We might maybe let me know when you're going, man. Maybe we can link up down there or something.
Bruh, I, I don't know,
Now I'm
man.
thinking about going to probably as much as you are.
I
So, and I've been
mean,
there before.
you've been there before, and I haven't. I think that's why I'm even more excited. I'm like, damn, if I can get, I can just because I love being sat at the table, looking at the menu, like that anticipation, and then
Yeah.
you get the food and it's hot, fresh, and steaming, and you eating it, and you like, especially if it's a little cooler, which hopefully it'll be at that time, because
Yeah.
it's gonna be like at the end of the month, beginning of September. Hopefully, there's a little more crisp in the air,
I hope so, man. It's been hot
because
forever.
I will definitely because if I can have on like one of my thinner hoodies and just a relaxed, cool state,
Yeah.
and me and my dinner guests there just eating and just enjoying and just being like that feeling of almost being too full, but you're satisfied. You're like,
Yeah.
man, we gotta walk this off. Yeah, let's go take a walk. And you know where we're gonna end up at? We're gonna end up at somewhere to get some dessert. It don't make no damn sense, y'all. It don't. But that's the beauty of life.
Yeah.
Gotta get it in while you're here. You gotta get it in. So I want to say thank you so much to Alim Leggett. Seriously, man, the comic is dope, and this is your first foray into it. You're feeling support from the community. You're taking in all the knowledge that you can, and it's beautiful. And I love to see it. And I see you just leveling up every time, man. Seriously,
Thank you.
seriously. You know,
Thank you.
I'm very much appreciative for you even reaching out. Thank you. Like I said,
Appreciate
I
that.
truly enjoyed the comic. Next opportunity that I get to write a review, Sweet Pea #1 will be there.
Thank you.
That's not even. I mean that's no brainer for me. Seriously. Like I said, folks, the link for the Kickstarter will be in the episode description, along with the link for Namwa. Don't be there when I'm there though, folks, because you're gonna see it's not gonna be pretty. I'm gonna be full, but it's not gonna be pretty. Don't come near my table. It's not. Just stay home. I'm gonna be real with y'all, folks. Stay home. I'm gonna let y'all know beforehand, but just stay home because I don't want to be bothered. I want. Sometimes you just got to be with that plate and just be like, damn, I like. Well, you know, food is good when you have to meditate after. I got to think about everything in life right now that led up to this point. Every mistake I made hurt, but it led me to this plate right here. That's life.
Yeah.
So, Alim, do you have any final words for folks?
Man, just thanks for spending this time with me, and thanks for having me on the show. Of course, if you guys want to learn more about Sweet Pea, you can follow me on Facebook, Sweet Pea Comic, Instagram, Sweet Pea Comic, and TikTok, Sweet Pea Comic. I'm not the best at social media, but I'm trying to get better. I'm very quick to respond to my inbox. So if you got any questions
Very true.
or anything like that, you can hit me up, or a review. You want to tell me you loved it? You want to tell me it sucked? Just hit me up, man, and we can talk about it. Or like even if you're looking for an issue, I don't have a store, but I can get PDFs out pretty easy, or get them in the mail. We can figure something out. So yeah, man, I appreciate you guys. Make sure you check out the Kickstarter. Make sure you at least give me a chance, man. I'm not the best salesman, but I promise you won't be disappointed with the story.
Folks, I don't have anyone on who I don't like the comic or I don't think it's worth your money. I'm not going to ask you to go in your pockets for something that I don't think is good. That's not who I am. I know money is tight in life, and you got to give a lot of it out, sometimes more than you're getting, unfortunately. So if I'm saying, hey, this comic is worth it, it's seriously worth it, you will enjoy it, that's for real. Like, that's not shtick or gimmick or anything like that. That's for real. Because I've read bad comics, and you know what? You've never heard about them because I will not talk about them. I sometimes don't even remember the names because they're just not worth that memory space. So Sweet Pea it's a comic that has layers. Once you read through it and afterwards you start thinking about it, which I do because I in a way I review comics in my head, but I also analyze them. I look at little nuances and things like that, and you feel it. And that trauma underneath everything is real, and it's layered there, and you'll see different forms of it. But it's also a comic that's entertaining, and like I said, the ending will make you go, wait, what's happening? Yeah, actually, like a couple of pages before you start going, wait, what is, and then that last page, that last actual panel, I was like, okay, what is, and I was like, nope, good, I'm just gonna enjoy it.
I can't wait to talk to you.
You know what I'm saying?
After you finish issue 2, man. I cannot wait, bro.
I will be happy and waiting, man. Seriously. So, folks, I want you to enjoy yourselves. Have a good day. As always, do the best you can with what you got, because in the end, that's all that you get. So be like water. And I will see you next time. I'm going to make this pledge right now. I did it last year. I'm going to do the same thing. Every Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch a new episode of The Hungry Bleak Show. All right? Have a good one. Enjoy it. Be safe. Peace.